Obviously, there has been a lot breaking in the news recently, but we did not want to lose sight of the extraordinary campaign of Starbucks workers across the country to unionize their stores. And one of the stories that we have been following is that of Laila Dalton. Let's go ahead and put Laila up on the screen. She is a Starbucks worker who was fired. The NLRB says that firing was illegal retaliation. There's an effort to reinstate her at Starbucks, and Laila Dalton joins us now for an update. Great to see you.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. It's great to see you, Laila.
Of course. Go ahead and put this more perfect union tear sheet up on the screen, which has some of the details of what happened here. They say Starbucks fires a union leader for protecting herself against harassment. So, Laila, just so people know kind of the background here, can you explain the circumstances of your firing?
Yeah, so basically from the start of my store trying to organize the day, or not the day, I guess you can say the following shift after I handed out the ballot cards the first day, I got a write-up that went basically almost 6 months back. And it was a bunch of things that were never enforced before or things I brought to their attention. And that's really when the harassment started, where after that, I started to countlessly get pulled in the back, interrogated, questioned, and it was just the start of what led to my firing.
And Laila, let's talk about the circumstance also, not only the retaliation, but what it means in the broader context of your efforts on the unionization effort.
Yeah, so for this whole unionizing effort, we are just trying to have a voice as workers. It's not about left, it's not about right, it's about the working people, the working class, and we all can relate. We've all been short staffed, we've all been put in unsafe conditions and maybe not trained. And we've all just, we can relate to get, like, we can relate to each other. So it's all of us coming together and realizing we have a voice and we shouldn't just expect this treatment because we're the working class and we're part of the food industry or Amazon. So I think that this is just showing everyone, especially people in my generation, that you can have a voice. You can we can make change. It takes effort, and it's a war, so it's going to take, some people losing their job, sadly, to get this to actually, I think, succeed.
What has this been like for you personally? What has the struggle been like for you since you were fired from the store?
Yeah, I would definitely say it's it's been hard trying to keep going all the time when I miss my partners back at my store. These people weren't just like coworkers to me. They were my best friends. They still are my best friends, but I can't see them all the time, especially because we all have our own lives. And going to work was just a place, at least it used to be a place where if I had something on my mind, something going on, I could just go hang out with my friends, go think about, get annoyed about maybe a customer or saying something, or just, have fun. And it's now not turned into that. My coworkers, my co-leader, they're basically, they feel like their soul is being drained and it's not a place you want to be anymore. So
That's really hard.
it's been hard also not being able to be the person there helping everyone,
Yeah.
since I've kind of like, everyone's like my friend. And the way I kind of roll in the store, especially as a supervisor, is I don't just try and work as a worker. I like to have a friendly relationship and just have, a great environment, because people, I don't just see them as a person that brings in money. I see them as an actual person. I care for them. I want to make sure they know that I'm there for them, even if they don't have any training, even if they need extra help, like whatever they need. I'm not going to judge them. I'm not going to just throw them in, like, just too much stuff has happened. And I just wish I could be there now.
Can you explain? There's a process in place that may lead to you being reinstated in your job. First of all, are you hoping that that happens? And second of all, can you just walk people through what has happened and what that process looks like?
Yeah, definitely. I would love to be reinstated. I think my biggest thing is being reinstated will show everyone that Starbucks, what they did is wrong and they're not getting away with it. And the process would me basically June 8th, I have a federal court injunction. It's the first case that went to the federal court, and now the Memphis Seven, which were seven workers from a organizing committee that all got fired, theirs is now June 9th. So basically, for us eight, I guess, we all are going to go to court and testify against Starbucks, and hopefully they're found guilty. Hopefully the judge finds all the information we have against them, that they did illegal union busting, and hopefully
Hmm.
that leads to all the other fired workers or anyone that may be the next fired worker, for that to stop happening or something to get resolved, because Starbucks, no matter how many no matter how many cases there are, I don't think Howard Schultz is going to stop.
Yeah, I think that is well said.
I
And
think
you
you're
said
right.
something that was really important, which is that, there's been this kind of mindset that, like, oh, food service, what can you do? It's never going to be unionized. It's impossible. The turnover is too great. There's all these barriers. And it's why what you all have done is so extraordinary, because you've proven that to be wrong. You provided a successful model that really took off like fire across the country. I think your store was one of the early ones to first vote to unionize. And now this number isn't even up to date, but this is as of yesterday. Let's go ahead and throw this up on the screen. There are now 80 plus Starbucks stores across the country, 56 different cities and 22 different states. As I said, after I saw this map, I saw a couple more successful unionization efforts go through. So this isn't even up to date. But what do you think it is? What sparked this? What touched a nerve for you personally? Why has it gained such incredible momentum when for years and years and years it was the case that food services was just almost an impossible barrier in terms of unionization efforts?
Yeah, I definitely think COVID-19, that pandemic, even though it's still going on, I think the start of it is really what pushed everyone to realize that. I mean, they've been getting treated bad since the start, but now there's a whole global pandemic and they still are treating people the exact same just because they choose profit over people. So I think that, just for me, what pushed me is I started working at Starbucks almost about 3 years ago. I just turned 17, and I just wanted to get a job, and I basically was thrown into everything, but I didn't know if it was right, if it was wrong. It always seemed wrong. It seemed like I was just getting thrown into the fire and no one really cared. But as I grew and I developed and I learned, and then COVID hit, and then eventually I got my own health problems. Meanwhile, my family has theirs. I I realized I was just a body to them, because
Mm,
I wanted to work part time as a supervisor for a month, since I just got out of the hospital, and I also still have college. And
Mm.
then my dad's just getting a kidney transplant, and my mom has cancer. So I have a lot going
Oh
on,
my
but
God.
they basically said, no, you have to demote yourself or you have to transfer. So it made me feel like, so I have to be a full-time student and a full-time worker, and I didn't feel right.
mm.
So that's when the co-leader said to me, when he saw that I've been complaining, I've been standing up for everyone since my first manager went on a trash run and never came back. So I got deja vu when I came to the Scottsdale and Mayo store and we got a new manager. So the day I was told, like, you have to transfer, demote yourself because you can't get that availability, it doesn't work within the Starbucks standards, that's when I talked to Bill Whitmire, my co-leader, and said, I don't know what to do. And that's when he brought up the union, and that's how it really started for me. That's what really brought this push. I wish I knew about this from the start, but I think for everyone, I think COVID-19 really showed everyone that there's a whole global pandemic and they're still treating us the exact same way.
Yeah, so their
Great
rhetoric
point.
about, oh, you're an essential worker didn't even come close to matching up with the reality you were experiencing on a day-to-day. Laila, we've been following your story. It's an honor to get to talk to you today. We're going to keep following it and pay close attention to what happens in court on, what'd you say, June 7th, June 8th?
June 8th, yes.
June 8th. All right.
Thanks, Laila.
Let us know. Give us an update. Great to
Thank
see
you
you,
so
Laila.
much.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And thank you guys so much for watching. We'll have more for you later. Cable news is ripping us apart, dividing the country, making it impossible to function as a society, and making it impossible to know just what is true and what is false. But the good news is they are failing and they know it.
That is why we're building something new, a new mainstream, a healthier one, something more trustworthy, something that we are going to need in one of the most pivotal times in American history. We are building up here for the midterms, for the upcoming presidential election, but we need your help. So if you can help us out by becoming a premium member today at breakingpoints.com, we're trying to change America for the better and the entire world.
So what are you waiting for, guys? Go to breakingpoints.com and sign up and help us build a new mainstream.